Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The quietest men are rarely peaceful. They're just running a different operating system. That's the sentence people whisper when they talk about Sigma males, usually after realizing they've completely misread him from the start. Because the truth is this: research shows that individuals who score high on introverted dominance traits are the hardest personality types for others to predict. And nothing unnerves people more than a man they can't calculate. Sigma males don't shock the world with noise. They shock it by existing outside the script everyone else follows. He's the man who disrupts expectations without even trying, the one who confuses narcissists, startles manipulators, and accidentally intimidates people just by minding his business. Half the time, he's not even aware he's causing chaos. He just wanted some peace and maybe a snack. This is the hidden side of the Sigma male. A world of silent paradoxes, unnerving self-control, unintentional psychological warfare, and a mystery so dense you could use it as a Wi-Fi blocker. And once you discover how he truly operates, behind the calm face, behind the independence, behind the low-maintenance attitude, you'll understand why people never forget him, even though he forgets them effortlessly. Strap in. You're about to explore the side of Sigma males that shocks everyone, especially the people who secretly thought they had him figured out. Number 1, he can love someone and still leave them. A Sigma. Male's love is unlike most people's understanding of love. It isn't about possession, dependence, or the constant reassurance that I'm yours. His love is a quiet force, steady but unbound, strong yet entirely self-contained. He can care for someone deeply, feel their presence in a way that would make others feel complete, and still walk away without the slightest hesitation when circumstances demand it. That's what shocks people the most. They think love is a chain, a tether that keeps people locked in place. But for him, love has no strings attached. It's an energy, not a binding contract. When a Sigma male leaves, it isn't out of cruelty. It isn't because he stopped caring. He leaves because he refuses to compromise the space he needs to grow, the independence he relies on, or the principles he refuses to bend. Toxicity, manipulation, constant neediness, or stagnation are not just turn-offs. They're deal breakers. Even if he loves you more than anyone else ever has, if the environment becomes a trap, he will walk away calmly, leaving only echoes of what was. The part that makes people uneasy is how effortless it seems. He doesn't fight, plead, or explain. He just disappears from the corners of life he no longer belongs to. This ability to detach without resentment, without emotional chaos, is what makes him both mesmerizing and terrifying. Many people cannot comprehend loving someone and leaving them at the same time because they confuse attachment with love. For a Sigma male, attachment is optional. Love is internal, quiet, and unselfish. He can care about someone without needing them to fill a void, without needing them to justify his presence. When he leaves, it's never the absence of love that drives him. It's the absence of alignment, of freedom, of authenticity. In the end, the shock isn't that he can leave, it's that he can do it while still carrying genuine care for the other person. Most people's love collapses when separation comes, but his remains intact. He doesn't destroy, he just moves on, leaving a trail of questions, respect, and the uncomfortable realization that love doesn't have to imprison anyone. That's the hidden power of a Sigma male's heart. Number 2, his ambition has no audience. A Sigma male doesn't chase recognition or applause. Unlike most people who measure success by likes, compliments, or the envy in others' eyes, his ambition is completely private. He doesn't need to post progress, explain his moves, or convince anyone that he's winning. For him, Goals exist for their own sake, not for validation. That's what makes his drive so unnerving to others. People are used to watching ambition unfold in public, expecting every milestone to be celebrated, every struggle to be documented. The Sigma male quietly ignores all of it. He works in silence, building, improving, and moving forward without broadcasting a single detail. The world might not notice him today, and that doesn't matter. He doesn't need a cheering crowd to motivate him. The only audience that matters is himself. He measures progress internally by the results he can touch and the growth he can feel. Success is personal, private, and profoundly satisfying to him in ways that applause could never match. This makes him unpredictable. Others underestimate him because they see no visible signs of effort, no obvious stress, no desperate hustle for approval. They don't realize he's already 10 steps ahead. What's fascinating, and often shocking, is the effect this has when results finally appear. The Sigma male doesn't announce a grand victory. He simply achieves it. When people realize what he's done, they are often taken aback because they didn't witness the work. There was no hype, no performance, no narrative to prepare them. He moves in shadows, and yet his results are impossible to ignore. His ambition isn't for recognition, it's for mastery, for freedom, for the ability to live life entirely on his own terms. This is why people struggle to understand him. They assume ambition must be loud, visible, and socially validated. They don't realize that true ambition can exist entirely in private, can grow unseen, and can explode into reality without any warning. That is the Sigma male's hidden power. His drive is relentless, his focus unmatched, and the only reward he truly seeks is the quiet knowledge that he alone controls the trajectory of his life. Number 3, he doesn't evolve, he sheds skins. A Sigma male doesn't grow in the way most people understand growth. He doesn't just add layers or improve incrementally. He sheds entire identities, discarding old versions of himself like a snake leaving a skin behind. Each chapter of his life is a complete metamorphosis. Who he was last year may bear no resemblance to who he is now, and who he will be next year is already quietly taking shape beneath the surface. This ability to completely reinvent himself is both fascinating and unnerving to others, because it's unpredictable and total. Unlike people who evolve slowly to fit expectations or to gain approval, a Sigma male evolves for himself, and only himself. He doesn't stay in familiar patterns or compromise to make others comfortable. If a part of his identity no longer serves him, whether it's a mindset, a relationship, or even a skill set, he sheds it without hesitation. He doesn't linger, apologize for leaving it behind, or try to make others understand. To him, attachment to old versions of himself is a form of stagnation. What matters is forward motion, even if that forward motion feels sudden or shocking to everyone else. This shedding isn't chaotic, it's intentional, precise, and almost surgical. Each version of himself is left behind cleanly, leaving only lessons learned, not emotional baggage. People often mistake this for instability, but it's actually the opposite. It's mastery over his own transformation. He controls every aspect of who he is, deciding what stays and what goes with complete authority. The effect on others is disorienting. People form attachments to the man they think they know, only to realize he has already moved on mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They see the surface, but he's always evolving below it, quietly leaving old selves behind and stepping into new forms that are stronger, sharper, and far less predictable. That's why his presence is magnetic yet intimidating. He isn't just changing, he's becoming someone no one has ever met before, and he does it effortlessly, leaving a trail of stunned observers trying to keep up. Number 4, he learns people faster than they learn themselves. A Sigma male has an uncanny ability to read people, And it's not because he's trained in psychology or social manipulation. It's because his mind operates like a high-speed analytical engine. He notices the tiniest inconsistencies in words, body language, and behavior, and he pieces them together almost instantly. While most people are still deciding how to react or what to reveal about themselves, he has already mapped their fears, desires, and contradictions with terrifying accuracy. By the time someone has spoken 2 sentences, he often knows more about them than they know about themselves. This ability isn't superficial observation. He sees beyond the mask people consciously present. He detects the subtle tells that reveal insecurities, ambitions, and hidden intentions. He understands what motivates them, what triggers them, and where their boundaries truly lie, even if they haven't admitted it yet. That's why interactions with him can feel so intense, sometimes uncomfortable, and even a little unnerving. People have a vague sense that he gets them, even when they're trying to hide who they really are. It's not just about spotting weaknesses. He also identifies patterns and contradictions that people themselves are blind to. He notices when someone says they want one thing but consistently acts in a way that undermines it. He sees hypocrisy, denial, and buried fears almost immediately, but he doesn't react in the way most would. He observes silently, storing the information, adjusting his approach, and using it when necessary. What makes this even more remarkable is how effortless it seems. He doesn't interrogate, force confessions, or ask probing questions. He watches, listens, and decodes with quiet precision. By the time others are aware of the complexity within themselves, he has already positioned himself to navigate it effectively, whether to avoid conflict, protect himself, or simply understand the world around him. His ability to learn people faster than they learn themselves is a hidden edge, one that leaves most others stunned when they realize just how deeply he understands them without ever saying a word. Number 5, his loyalty is dangerous because it's binary. A Sigma male doesn't do loyalty halfway. For him, it's absolute. Either he is all in or he is completely out. There is no middle ground, no casual allegiance, no gray areas. When he commits, it's unwavering, unshakable, and total. He will defend, support, and stand by someone with a quiet intensity that most people find astonishing. You feel it in every action, every decision he makes. There is no doubt that his loyalty is real, and it's not contingent on convenience or recognition. But the other side of this loyalty is what makes it dangerous. When a Sigma male decides someone or something no longer deserves his commitment, he disappears from their life in a way that is almost untouchable. He doesn't linger with resentment, debate, or confrontation. He simply withdraws completely, removing access to his energy, attention, and presence. For those on the receiving end, it feels sudden, almost impossible to reverse. He doesn't negotiate, plead, or justify himself because his loyalty is not a commodity, it's a principle. Once it's withdrawn, it cannot be reclaimed. This binary nature of his loyalty is what makes him both admirable and intimidating. People who gain it experience devotion unlike anything else. They feel safe, valued, and understood. But those who lose it or betray it face a void they cannot bridge. Unlike others, who might tolerate small betrayals or beg for a second chance, he does not. His loyalty is tied to integrity, respect, and alignment with his values. When those are violated, he simply vanishes. What makes this especially shocking is the clarity and finality of it. There are no mixed signals, no half-hearted measures, no lingering doubts. He either stands as an unshakable presence in your life or becomes entirely untouchable. People don't understand it until they experience it. His loyalty is a gift of immense strength, and when withdrawn, a disappearance so absolute it leaves a permanent impact. This is the hidden power and danger of a Sigma male's allegiance. Number 6, He feels emotions like static electricity, sudden, intense, gone. A Sigma male experiences emotions in bursts, sudden and intense, and then they vanish as quickly as they arrived. He doesn't dwell on feelings the way most people do, nor does he allow them to linger and cloud his decisions. One moment, he can be consumed by a surge of anger, passion, or excitement. The next, he's calm, composed, and seemingly untouched. To outsiders, it's confusing. Sometimes they think he's completely unaffected. Other times they assume he's deeply moved. The truth is, he is both at once. This rapid rise and fall of emotions isn't a lack of depth. It's a controlled intensity. Sigma males feel profoundly but process internally with extreme efficiency. There's no emotional clutter, no prolonged self-pity or drama. Once the energy has passed, it leaves no residue. He doesn't carry grudges because the spike of anger has already done its work. He doesn't obsess over loss because the sadness has already served its purpose. Emotions are tools for him, not chains. This makes interacting with him unpredictable. People often misread his reactions or try to measure his feelings against conventional standards, only to be left baffled. They can't tell if he's indifferent or simply done processing faster than they can comprehend. That's the quiet shock of a Sigma male's emotional world. It's extreme and fleeting, raw yet disciplined, visible only in flashes. The most striking part is how this ability protects him. He experiences the world fully but never allows it to hijack his life. He can love, rage, or grieve intensely, yet he remains untethered. Most people take hours, days, or even years to reach the same level of resolution he achieves in moments. That's why he appears unshakable, calm, and almost untouchable, even in situations that would overwhelm anyone else. His emotional spikes are storms that pass almost instantly, leaving him standing in complete control, while everyone around him is left guessing what just happened. Number 7, he outgrows people. 10x faster than they expect. A Sigma male doesn't move through life at the pace most people do. While others are busy maintaining routines, clinging to comfort zones, or measuring progress in predictable increments, he evolves at a velocity that leaves them far behind. One month he's easily relatable, sharing thoughts, habits, and experiences that others can understand. The next, he has mentally shifted into a space so advanced, so refined, that anyone trying to keep up feels lost. It's not arrogance, it's natural acceleration. He absorbs, analyzes, and transforms himself at a rate that most can't match. This rapid growth makes him both fascinating and disorienting. People often think they know him, but the truth is, they're only familiar with a snapshot of a version that no longer exists. His conversations, decisions, and perspectives evolve constantly, meaning the man they interacted with yesterday might already be a step ahead today. Relationships, friendships, and even professional connections can feel precarious because he is not content to remain static. He outgrows dynamics, ideas, and people that fail to challenge or inspire him, often leaving others behind without realizing it. What's most remarkable is that he doesn't consciously try to outpace anyone. His evolution isn't competitive, it's intrinsic. He refines his mind, body, and environment for his own alignment and growth. He naturally sheds what no longer serves him and elevates what does, often leaving people bewildered by how quickly he changes. The shock comes when someone recognizes that the person they thought they knew is no longer reachable on the same wavelength. This is why Sigma males often appear enigmatic. They are not deliberately distant. They simply live at a level of mental and emotional acceleration that the majority cannot sustain. By the time others catch up to his last version, he has already evolved again. It's a hidden reality of his life. He doesn't merely grow, He outpaces the world, leaving everyone else scrambling to understand a man who is always, fundamentally, one step ahead. Number 8. He doesn't argue because he's already calculated the ending. A Sigma male rarely engages in arguments, and it's not because he lacks opinion or conviction. He doesn't argue because, long before words are even spoken, he has already mapped out the entire trajectory of the conversation. He calculates the emotional reactions, the logical twists, and the social consequences with precision. By the time someone begins to make their point, he knows exactly where it will lead, what it will reveal about them, and how it will affect him. For him, engaging in the back and forth is redundant. Silence becomes the ultimate strategy. This makes him appear calm, unshakable, and sometimes untouchable in discussions. People often mistake his quietness for passivity or disinterest, but the truth is far from it. He is observing, analyzing, and deciding when or if any words are necessary. Most debates are driven by ego, a desire to dominate, or an attempt to prove something. He recognizes these patterns instantly and chooses not to indulge them. He knows that arguing rarely changes minds, especially when it's fueled by emotional attachment rather than rational thought. The power in his silence is subtle but unmistakable. When others are frustrated by their inability to elicit a reaction, they inadvertently reveal more about themselves than they intend. He uses their words and energy to reinforce his understanding of them without lifting a finger. His restraint makes him unpredictable, which unnerves people who are used to conventional confrontations. Engaging with him on an argument often feels like trying to battle shadows. He is always several steps ahead, fully aware of every potential outcome and entirely in control of his response. The truth is, he doesn't need to win a debate to assert dominance. The mastery is in knowing the conclusion before anyone else does. In his world, words are tools, not weapons, and silence is often the sharpest, most devastating one he possesses. Number 9, he bonds with people's potential, not their personality. A Sigma male doesn't invest in people based on who they are at face value. He looks deeper beyond the masks, habits, and comfort zones to see the version of someone they could become. He senses their capacity for growth, resilience, and integrity long before they recognize it themselves. His attention, energy, and respect are reserved for that potential, and he nurtures it silently, often without the other person realizing how much faith is being placed in them. This makes him selective in a way that can be mystifying. People are used to bonding over shared hobbies, interests, or surface-level traits, but he bypasses all that. He seeks alignment with vision, ambition, and values that may not yet be fully expressed. If he sees promise, he engages, guides subtly, and encourages growth. But if someone repeatedly fails to reach toward that potential, if they stagnate, compromise, or settle, he doesn't waste time with confrontations, lectures, or emotional appeals. He simply withdraws. The most baffling part for others is the quietness of his disengagement. He doesn't dramatize his disappointment or make ultimatums. He doesn't even need to explain himself. To the outside world, it may look like he lost interest for no reason. The reality is far more profound. He had expectations not of perfection, but of evolution. And when those expectations aren't met, he moves on internally first, then externally. This approach makes him both inspiring and intimidating. Those who recognize their own potential under his subtle influence often rise to it. Those who don't feel the sudden absence, the quiet pulling away, and are left confused by a bond that was never based solely on personality or compatibility. His connections are with what people can become, not just what they are. And that distinction is what sets his relationships and his worldview apart from everyone else's. Number 10, he can erase someone emotionally without feeling the loss. A Sigma male doesn't just end relationships or walk away from people, he erases them emotionally, as if they never existed. Unlike most who linger in memories, regrets, or lingering attachments, he completely removes the connection from his inner world. When he decides that someone drains him, that relationship is no longer part of his emotional system. There's no mourning, no bitterness, no slow process of detachment. His brain simply deletes the access point, and the person ceases to occupy space in his heart or mind. This ability is shocking to everyone who has ever tried to hurt, manipulate, or cling to him. They expect resistance, anger, or grief, but he feels none of it. There's no emotional residue left behind because he doesn't allow attachments to persist beyond their value. It's not cruelty, it's efficiency. The Sigma male treats emotional energy like currency. If someone or something costs more than it contributes, he withdraws, and he withdraws completely. People often misinterpret this as coldness, indifference, or lack of depth. In reality, it's a form of self-preservation and clarity. He experiences connections fully while they exist, but he doesn't over-invest, and he doesn't dwell once they're over. By the time others are processing heartbreak, confusion, or resentment, he has already moved on, unbothered and intact. This is what makes his presence both mesmerizing and terrifying. When you are part of his world, he can be intensely present, loyal, and connected. But if you betray his trust, drain his energy, or fail to align with his principles, you vanish from his inner life without warning or trace. People never fully understand how a Sigma male can care deeply and yet walk away as if nothing ever happened. That hidden power, to erase emotionally without feeling the loss, is one of the most understated yet shocking traits of a Sigma male. Number 11, his quietness isn't shyness, it's data conservation. A Sigma male's silence is often misread as shyness, insecurity, or social awkwardness, but it's none of those things. He speaks only when the value of his words outweighs the energy spent delivering them. Every interaction, every conversation, every exchange is measured against its usefulness and impact. If the conversation doesn't serve a purpose, he doesn't waste a word. To him, speaking for the sake of noise is inefficient and unnecessary. This makes him appear mysterious, detached, or even intimidating to others. People expect constant engagement, small talk, and verbal signals of connection, and when he refuses to participate, it throws them off balance. They interpret his quietness as hesitation or weakness, but in reality, it's strategic. He's conserving cognitive resources, protecting his energy, and avoiding mental clutter. Like a high-performance machine, he refuses to run unnecessary software or expend processing power on inputs that don't contribute to his goals or understanding of the world. The power of this quietness becomes evident in social and professional settings. While others burn energy reacting, debating, or performing socially, he observes, analyzes, and processes without distraction. By staying silent, he gains a full understanding of situations and people before making any move. His restraint isn't passive, it's a calculated advantage. This approach also protects him emotionally. Words can create attachments, reveal vulnerabilities, or generate conflicts, and he understands that better than most. By speaking sparingly, he minimizes exposure to manipulation, misunderstandings, and energy drains. What seems like introversion or aloofness is actually precision in action. In the end, his quietness is not a flaw, it's a hidden strength. People may mistake it for something lacking, but it's one of the Sigma male's most powerful traits. He speaks only when necessary, acts only when effective, and conserves mental and emotional energy like a master strategist. That is why his silence is not emptiness. It is control, intelligence, and unmatched efficiency, all hidden behind a calm, unreadable exterior. Number 12. He forgives actions, but never restores access. A Sigma. Male doesn't operate on the same rules as most people when it comes to forgiveness. He can forgive a betrayal, a mistake, or a disappointment, not because he wants to maintain the relationship, but because he values his own peace and refuses to carry unnecessary emotional weight. Forgiveness for him is a tool to release the burden, not an invitation to return to the old dynamics. Once the trust or privilege is broken, it's gone forever. The person who once had full access to his attention, energy, and emotional space now finds themselves interacting with a version of him that is controlled, cautious, and limited. This is what shocks people the most. They assume forgiveness implies restoration, that everything can return to how it was. Not with a Sigma male. While he may appear calm, even kind, the access you once enjoyed is no longer yours. He has mentally and emotionally archived the original version of you, and now you are interacting with the read-only version. Your influence, your sway over him, your intimacy, everything has been reduced to boundaries that protect him. He doesn't make a show of it. There's no drama, no confrontation, no lingering resentment. He simply shifts the way he engages, and people often don't even realize the magnitude of what has changed until much later. This makes him unpredictable and at times unnerving to those who used to take his presence for granted. By forgiving but never restoring access, the Sigma male maintains control over his emotional ecosystem. He separates peace from privilege, understanding that one can exist without the other. This approach protects him from repeated harm while allowing him to act with clarity and composure. The lesson is stark. Forgiveness doesn't equal a reset button. With a Sigma male, forgiveness is a personal liberation, and access is never negotiable. Once it's gone, it's gone. And anyone who thought they could regain it is left confronting a reality they never anticipated. The hidden world of Sigma males is a labyrinth of paradoxes, invisible rules, and quiet power that most people will never truly understand. They are not loud, they are not boastful, and they rarely seek validation, but their impact is undeniable. Every action, every silence, every decision is calculated, intentional, and deeply revealing of a mind that operates on an entirely different wavelength. From erasing people emotionally without remorse, to evolving faster than anyone can keep up with, to bonding with potential rather than surface-level traits, their existence challenges conventional ideas about loyalty, love, ambition, and emotional intelligence. What makes the Sigma male so extraordinary, and why people are often shocked by him, is not just his independence, but the precision and depth with which he navigates life. He protects his energy fiercely, invests selectively, and moves with an almost imperceptible but unstoppable force. Every connection he makes, every decision he executes, and every boundary he sets is a reflection of a self who refuses to be ordinary. And while he may appear enigmatic or even untouchable, the truth is simple. He is fiercely aligned with himself, and everything else is secondary. Understanding a Sigma male is not about decoding him. It's about appreciating the rare combination of autonomy, intelligence, emotional mastery, and relentless growth that defines him. He is a living paradox, deeply human, yet untouchably self-contained, intensely loyal, yet capable of leaving without regret, silently observant, yet profoundly influential. His hidden side shocks, not because it's violent or dramatic, but because it exists completely outside the predictable patterns of the world. If you've gained insight into the quiet, yet unstoppable power of the Sigma male, make sure to stay part of this journey. Subscribe to the channel for more content that peels back the layers of human behavior. Drop a comment to share your thoughts or experiences, And don't forget to like and share this video with anyone who needs to understand the rare and extraordinary minds that operate just a step ahead of the rest of the world. The Sigma male isn't just a type, he's a revelation. And now you've glimpsed the hidden rules he lives by.